A first-of-its-kind group in Kansas City is helping people who lost loved ones to substance abuse. It is called HALO, which stands for Heart of Addicted Loved Ones. Melissa Edmond is grief coordinator at St. Luke's Hospice, and Susan Whitmore is president and CEO of First Call. And ladies, thank you so much for coming. So let's just begin with how this all started. A special group just for people who are involved in substance abuse with opioid, that involves opioid and alcohol addiction, or tell me what it is.
Exactly it. I serve out of the hospice house in Midtown, St. Luke's Home Care and Hospice, and I just noticed the trend, unfortunately, in the deaths that were occurring with our patients who had either a primary or secondary diagnosis of this disorder. And in following up with their families, with their loved ones, I found there was that element of shame. They didn't want to come to a normal support group, a normal grief group. So I just realized that we need something special for these people. We needed to love them separately and care for them separately, and thankfully First Call has partnered with us, with St. Luke's, and we just feel really honored to be able to offer this to our community.
So how will you help? Will you refer people? How is First Call involved?
Absolutely, yes. We serve both individuals and families who are impacted by substance use disorders, and so we see a lot of people who are struggling with family members who are going through this, but there's a very special population of people who have lost a loved one to overdose increasingly, and also just from complications from other substance use disorders. And so we've seen a gap in the people who we didn't have programming for because their loved one had already passed. And so I had been talking to families almost every month who really had a need for community around this, and also a need for what we try to do in terms of educating them about substance use disorders and relieving them of some of the responsibility and guilt that they feel for what has happened to their loved one, because it's not a moral issue, it's a health issue just like any other disease. And so we love the work that Melissa is doing, because it really does shore up those families who are in a grieving process, and we can play our part by helping them understand that this is a clinical issue that their loved ones struggled very deeply with, and unfortunately lost that battle, but there is recovery for family members too, and also some solace to be found in community.
Yeah, there is. You know, having the strength in numbers. It's so true. You said 1 to 2 deaths a week that you're seeing.
Right, just in the hospice house side. And then we have the home care side, and Bruce Lizey, the man that does my job out in the homes, he sees the same.
So what would you say to families who are watching who've had loved ones who have passed because of opioid addiction or alcohol addiction?
That you don't have to hurt alone, that there is power in community, and there's power in coming together and telling your story, and, you know, saying your child's name, saying your husband's name.
So how can we get people involved? When and where? And
We're going to meet the 2nd and the 4th Wednesday of every month at 5:30 at First Call, and there's no cost to this program.
Totally free.
Right. Yes, and the address is 9091 State Line, and that's First Call, and you can't miss our big sign.
Oh,
and
ladies.
And Cynthia, you just show up. You don't have to reserve a spot. We'll have a chair there for you waiting.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, ladies, thank you so much for reaching out and helping those families who are grieving in a very different way with lots of guilt, and they can feel much better when they come. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.